Okay, I only have one thing for this evening, and it's a brief presentation on my proposal for a shared special education service, which would be our Director of Special Education. There is an agenda item on tonight, and I'm going to give a brief overview of some information regarding that. So current shared services that we have amongst ourselves, Pinelands, and some of the other surrounding districts, you can see on the slide in front of you. Obviously, I'm the shared superintendent between the two districts. Our business administrator, Nick Brown, is shared between Pinelands and Little Egg. The business office shares numerous services among Little Egg and Pinelands. Food services, our maintenance night supervisor, Bruce, who's here right now, is doing an amazing job between the two districts. Our child study team at Pinelands also gets, some of those members get a stipend to go over to Bass River and participate in their child study team. Technology is shared amongst all of the districts, also amazing. And then we share OTPT, World Language, and a BCBA amongst the districts. So this is just some data to give you an overview of what this would look like. At the bottom, you'll see if Little Egg and Pinelands were to share a director. Going forward, I want you to look at some other local area school districts that I tried to get some that were similar in size and just kind of give you a perspective. Let's take Lacey, for example. They have a little over 3,000 students. They have 7 child study teams and 1 director. And you can see some other information on this slide. If Little Egg and Pinelands were to combine, their student population is almost 3,200. That would leave Miss Linton Walner with 4 child study teams. So it's really not a substantial number in comparison to some other school districts. So what would Erin do in her role? She would manage child study teams. She does not manage students. One of the questions I've been asked by some parents in emails or face-to-face were, how is she going to handle almost twice the caseload of students? Erin would not have caseload as a director. She oversees child study teams. The child study team members still have their caseloads, and the teachers still teach the students. So what is the daily impact? Child study teams remain the same in both school districts. Now we have a K-12 relationship that's formed with parents. The child's teacher and program would not be changing. There's collaborations and continuity, K-12. We can expand programs. We can have a savings into both districts and provide more services to students with the savings in the director's salary. There's consistency in IEPs and programs. Parents of students in Little Egg now have a consistency in the format of their IEP and program when they go on to Pinelands. A common philosophy is shared K-12, and all practices are aligned with federal law. Just very briefly, some of my responsibilities as superintendent are to continually assist our management practices and to see where we can run more efficiently, where we can save money without compromising programs and student learning. I have to make sure that funds are spent prudently, and I have to make sure that statutory obligations according to New Jersey state law and the DOE are followed. This is an overview of Little Egg Harbor on one side and Pinelands. As you can see, I stated earlier, there's 4 child study teams. Most of it's very consistent and similar. And then you can see where we have some services in-house that we share with the smaller districts that are contracted out at Pinelands. And with the shared director, we can see how we can expand these services to meet the needs of these students without having to outsource, which can be quite costly. Erin is not able to be here tonight. She's actually on a work conference in Washington, and she did ask me to share this. These are her 3 children, and she is comfortable with me sharing with you. 2 of her children do have IEPs, so she's familiar with this not only from a professional standpoint, but as a parent. A little background on her: she was a special education teacher. She taught life skills from high school students. She was a special ed teacher in Egg Harbor Township, where she did middle school and elementary school autism. And then she was in Egg Harbor Township as a school psychologist and served as a child study team member, which is really huge to have that perspective when she became an administrator in Little Egg Harbor over 3 years ago. Just her leadership practice, you can see this for yourself. And then lastly, she does have an open door policy. I've known Erin now professionally for over 3 years, and I can assure you that she is open to having discussions. She has a task group, which is Talk About Special Kids, that meets about 4 times a year, and she's been very successful with that, communicating and collaborating with parents. So that's all I have for you for tonight. Do any of the board members have questions? Thank you.